Let's do some more. Why, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king, and we are talking about some unique experiences from our guest who's going to be coming up on Monday, Jason Bronner, the man behind Buzzard's Roost, Sippin Whiskey, and Bourbon's Bistro. It's going to be a tremendous show, so we're setting up with some samples to kind of see what we think, because there's no way you can actually get into giving real reviews on 4 whiskeys and talk about everything that he's been involved in. So we're going to try to get a little bit of this in early. Mike, Ben, how are you doing? Anyone in the chat, thank you for stopping in. Emily Chambers here nice and early, of course, and she's the mod, so watch out. She will put you in, I don't know, what do they call it? The box in hockey? Put you in the box?
The penalty box? I think she pretty much just kills you.
slowly and sadistically.
Yes.
She might be just muted for 5 minutes at random over the next few shows.
Yes. A shovel to the back of the head. First the flat end, then the blade. Then the flat end, then the blade.
All right. Now, what we did have an article that came out from our good friend Kevin over at Bourbon Fellowship. We're going to be putting a link to that in the description, and we'll also link to that here in a minute. But he did a really nice review of 2 of the ones we're going to be talking about today. So you should stop over there and read that, because it's a tad more eloquent than we're probably going to be here this evening or this afternoon. So what do we want to start sipping on? Because who doesn't want to have a few drinks in the afternoon on Wednesday?
Are we going to do the toasted also?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Probably should do
hand right now.
If we are, I would do the toasted first. If not, then I think we just need to go with the small batch rye.
Well, let's do it. Let's just do them all. So what do you want to start with, Mike? You lead us down the path. You've had more of these than I have.
All right, we'll do toasted. And I tried to post the link. YouTube being
you did.
Well,
thank you.
I didn't.
I just did that.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to post it in the normal chat, and YouTube just sucks. But we love you.
Hate you.
You're
All
the
at the
worst
same
ever,
time.
but we love you.
Holy.
All right. So I'll do a little bit. This is the Toasted Barrel Straight Rye Whiskey, 105 proof. It's a lovely whiskey.
Oh, you know what? It's a lovely bottle. Let me blow you up here. Give me a second. Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, you both
2 of us have it. Yeah, we do.
You know what? Now I'm going to switch back just to be fair. To be fair.
What is fair? What is fairness?
Oh, the world's greatest taster is in the chat.
That is true. Good to see you, ADHD. Thanks for stopping in.
And if you haven't had Buzzard's Roost, spoiler alert, find it, buy it.
Yes, it is from Kentucky. Oh, our friend James, a.k.a. Mule of the Month, is blowing us up because he is
Mule of the Year.
Probably Mule of the Year. I can't give it to him right away. But he's up there.
Yeah.
Is there another release that we're this excited about?
I don't know.
It's not the distance of the trip. It's what you're muling.
That's true. And he is out on the premises of Leopold Brothers as they open up today for the first time since the pandemic, and also releasing the 3 Chambers Rye still. And he is out there becoming the Mule of the Year, I guess. He's up there. He's nominated. He's probably got the first 3 spots locked up.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Go back and watch that show. Go back and watch the show that we did with Todd. I do the 3 Chamber. We were very, very fortunate to talk to him and to get samples a few months ago. It's really good.
Yeah, it is really, really good. And Emily's right. You don't have the wrench, Mike. You don't have the power to do that. She took that from you.
You know what? She will hit me in the back of the head with the wrench. I'm certain of that.
All right.
Anyway.
So Toasted Barrel, 52.5%. talk to me, Mike? What is going? Do you know what happened behind this one? I think it was.
Yeah, so the Buzzard's Rooster,
Yeah.
which we'll get into more with Jason with him talking about the story of wanting to do his own brand. But
Mhm.
obviously, building a distillery is not something you can just do. But what you can do is you can source, or you can be a non-distilling producer. But he didn't want to do it like everybody else does it. He wanted to be unique, and so he got with his friends at Independent Stave and said, "Well, we want to really get crazy with analyzing these barrels, and I want to have something unique with the barrels." And so what he's done is these are sourced whiskeys from MGP. I think, if not all, 99% of the whiskey is sourced from MGP.
Mhm.
But this toasted one it's a 3-year MGP rye. But what he did was he put it in a barrel that is toasted only. There's no charring on this barrel. And all these ones that they did chemical analysis to try to find what's going to do based on the flavors that he wanted to get.
Yep.
So when you have friends at Independent Stave, you can do things like this where they can say, because Independent Stave, they know what they can do to the barrel clearly. Well, he's like, I want these types of flavors. Like, well, we can do that if we do this. And so he's got his own recipes for barrels. And this just being, you could say simply a toasted barrel, but it's really not. The toasted influence is incredible on this.
And the other thing is, just as far as the release is, he's getting it from MGP, and it's not just sitting in their barrel most of the time for a couple of years, wherever it is, just to, give it a little more flavor, or maybe a little, I don't want to say terroir from the area, but a little bit, because it can be affected, but also putting it in his own, like you said, chosen barrels and aging it longer. So he's intentionally putting his own torque on it.
Yeah.
Not just saying, here's MGP, take it. And more, what are we thinking price range on this? This
was like $60, $65.
Yeah, right in that range. And am I right, Mike, in thinking it was toasted, but there is a number one char on this barrel, or am I thinking of something else he's done?
I don't think there's any char at all. I think this is strictly
just
toasted.
Okay.
What's weird is I have a bottle here that I could probably read it on there. If it's on there,
it's not.
No, it's just finished in a proprietary toasted barrel.
Right.
So I think what, as he said before, it's just a toast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But even that, they have different layers to, and I don't think that was alluded to. I mean, like, they're like different layers of, I don't want to say radiation, but toasting to get down to the inside. I said irradiate. I don't know, man. It's like it gets in, it just toasts further in. There's just a different layering to it.
Proprietary 3 Mile Island.
That's right. Radiation and lead paint.
It doesn't smell like.
And it's Kevin, and Kevin would know. No char, just toasted. The others have a number one char.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification, sir.
I knew I remembered reading about a number one char on that, but I couldn't remember if that was on this one. So good job, Kev.
Yeah.
As far as and this one's a rye, so it smells more like a bourbon, to be honest, on the nose. You know what I mean?
I think that, the sweetness that you're going to get off the char.
Yeah.
Or the toast, not the char.
It smells like a high rye bourbon rather than being more like a primarily like a rye from them, which is probably like 95.5 most likely.
Yeah, there's not a heavy, but there's like a layer of cherry that I get off of this that I would not normally get off of a rye.
I get that.
And then vanilla, cherry and vanilla.
I hear I was being quiet to let him talk, so come on back. Come on back.
I'm coming back. I had to quiet some children in the background there. Life in the middle of the day on a Saturday, right?
That's why we're sitting.
Right.
I get, for me, what popped off the nose right away was a heavy caramel note and vanilla.
Yeah.
And then there's this, I start to pull some of the rye notes out of there. So I get a little bit of that dill, and I'm picking up on that cherry note that you're talking about too.
And there's like I get vanilla, cherry, and there's like it's not a heavy mint, but a light mint.
Mm-hmm.
But that caramel, more caramel than what you would normally get off of a rye for sure. And I tell you, I first got this bottle. I don't know what it was, beginning of the year, end of last year, or whenever it was. And right after I opened it, I was like, shit, I wish I got a second bottle.
Right.
And luckily, when we went to Bourbon's Bistro, they're like, well, we're going to have 3 tomorrow. It's like,
We'll take
okay.
them all.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
I also get like a little bit of a light lemon, but I can tell by like the toasting on this one, it mellowed out what MGP's char level did.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it really.
Okay.
Go ahead.
that lemon is like a lemon zest. To me.
Yeah, see, I
here.
get that citrus, but the citrus it reminds me of is when someone takes a bunch of slices and makes like a citrus water.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me, because it's like it's not one citrus. It's because there's a little orange. I get a little lemon.
Right.
Kind of feel like I'm getting a little cucumber, but
Yeah,
which I know is not a citrus,
reality,
but that's not the point.
the 95% rye mash bill that you typically get with MGP, this just does not come across that way on the nose at all. What that toasted barrel has done to this, it has just softened it and added some wonderful, wonderful notes here that I think a bourbon drinker who does not normally like rye, this is, having had this one already quite a bit, this is an easy bottle to get somebody into rye with.
Oh,
It picks up on the last third through the finish, the little bit of heat with the spice. But it's not overpowering, and it has a really nice, almost intense fade on the first like real drink. Like it's still there and it's fading. There's just a little bit of a warm burn. Like this would be really nice in October, September here, right when it starts to be like fallish. It has wonderful flavors, but it also has just a little bit of warming heat all the way kind of through. But it's not like an alcohol burn. It's just nice. Sorry. Oh, hey John, thanks for stopping in.
You mentioned that the rye spice, but I get and I'm trying to come up with how I differentiate this myself, but it's not a spice punch, but it's like a grain punch, because it's just when I'm trying to convey this to myself, so I'm going to sound really stupid. But it is, because where you just taste it, where you like with a lot of craft stuff, you really taste the grain, and sometimes it's like, wow, you really taste the grain here. But it's not just spice. There's many layers to that spice, and to me, that's more of the grains that you're getting off of there. You're getting a little bit. You're just getting. There's more to it, and again, words hard, words hard. Mike, not smart.
Here's I guess for me, here's what I'm thinking of this kind of a descriptive way of what I'm tasting here. But this is like, for me, it's like a s'more. So I've got this toasted marshmallow note that if you drizzled a little caramel sauce on top and you plop down a spearmint leaf. So there's this toasted marshmallow, there's this kind of sweet caramel, and then there's this big hit of spearmint coming through all the way to the finish.
Yeah,
I like that. That's good.
The mint is definitely carrying over that way. The finish I'm enjoying just because it's a little more intense than some other things, and it is sticking around quite a while. Like there's been a lot of stuff lately we've had that has kind of dipped away, and that's kind of holding its own. But yeah, like I said, right on the nose, already almost smelled like a bourbon more. So the softening up of this, and it was really nicely done. And I believe he started this because he didn't really like rye either. And here he is playing around with ryes and stuff and turning them into something else. So let's guess, what are we doing next? A single barrel straight rye.
Let's do the small batch straight rye. The proofs are all pretty much the same across. I think they are same across the board.
105.
But
the very small batch.
Very small batch.
I'm just making sure. Hold on. There's a
teeny tiny batch. And I know it's the afternoon, but the dump glass is working.
Yep.
Maybe not for me.
I'm painting outside. I just don't have to paint straight.
Well, there is no painting without alcohol involved.
God, yeah, it's only
It doesn't
100 degrees
happen.
outside too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 degrees and thick.
Oh, hold on here. I'm gonna need to pour a little bit back to this one. There's gonna be to be some ABs with this little bit of the show here, I think. Just to see what's
All right, so
going
this
on.
gets back to a classic rye nose for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, even a nice bit of like worn leather. Brown sugar.
That worn
Black
leather is a good
pepper.
note. That's, yep.
I'd even give a black pepper and white pepper. That's nice. But a little tame on some of the other, not like heavy caramel. It's in there, not like heavy vanilla, but it's in the background on this right away. Hey, awesome. John's finally not at work. You know, dude, that's
Cheers,
awesome.
buddy.
Cheers
Yeah.
to John on that. We're happy you're finally off.
From now on, all shows will be Saturday afternoon for John.
Well, we'll schedule some more Saturday sippers. Okay, I jumped the gun on the nose for you guys, so why don't you mention that, because I don't want to get into the flavor before you get that out, because that was definitely a left turn. Oh, what's he doing? Now I'm getting videos from James. I don't know if it's
What kind of videos?
I don't know. He's giving. I think Todd's giving a tour or something. And I don't know if we're being mentioned or not, or if we're in trouble. That's
I hope
okay.
we're not in trouble.
We're not in trouble. His
We
brother
love
does.
Todd.
His brother does like to give him shit about how we call him the Fred Rogers of whiskey.
Oh, so speaking of which, I get a message from a friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey, I just went and I watched that video. He's fraternity brothers with Todd's brother." He's like, "Hey, if you go out there, tell him I said hi." I'm like, "Well, why don't you tell him, and I'll go out there and we'll tell him you said hi."
Right?
Okay. Otherwise, just jump into the taste, because this one was
It's
different.
it's rye. It's a rye whiskey, but it's not.
I'm getting a little bit of red fruit coming in here, and I can't decide if it's a raspberry or strawberry note that I'm picking up. But
I wrote strawberries down on mine because it's not. I don't know what's different about this one because we just have this little baby sampler here.
Okay.
So we're going to find out more.
I'd say raspberry, the way I'm getting it. But there's a nice caramel note up front, a little bit of raspberry, but then all of a sudden, like halfway through, it's like rye, and it comes back to like just grab, you know. And not the flavors are they're bolder for me on the second half of it. Like things start coming to life. Right. Where the spice happens, I get a little bit more. I got the leather note now in the finish, along with like a little bit of barrel, not a lot. The barrel thing is interesting because it's like on this one too, you get a little bit of it first, but in both of them, even the level 1 char, it seems like it mellows out the MGP a little bit just by aging a little bit more, or by being in the lower charred barrels that are toasted.
so this on the palate for me, I get a lot more heavy eucalyptus on this compared to the toasted barrel. But what's interesting is it goes to the back of the palate, back end starts transitioning to the finish. It turns briny. It's like a heavily salted caramel for me. The way that's kind of hitting the back of the tongue.
I definitely get the salty part of that.
Yeah.
It's not as heavy caramel, but definitely the salty part of that hitting.
Yeah, it's a caramely rye.
Yeah. Again, it turns very salty on the back end for me, which
And
not a bad thing
and
at all. That's just interesting. I like that.
This drink's at the same proof as the toasted barrel. This drink's way easier.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, this could be a great night or a really bad night.
I'm
or
thinking
really bad next morning.
with this and knowing what Jason does as a restaurateur, this is something I think would work well with like a steak. Just the flavor profile that this has, and it wouldn't be like overpowering it. It would be in the background, and what it's leaving behind, I think would work well. And Mike, you said no. Why? Go shoot. Why am I crazy?
I didn't say you're crazy.
Oh, you said no though. So this could be going well with a steak.
Oh no, I said I know.
Oh,
I didn't say.
I thought
no.
you said no. I was like, well, fucking say your piece.
No,
don't just say shit and leave.
I'm a vegan. Haven't I told you lately? Yeah, there are too many vegans that look like this.
If you were a vegan, you would have told us that like
I
30 times already.
I had a guy who was bigger than me. He goes, yeah, well, I've been vegan for a while, and no, you haven't. No, that's not true. They don't make vegan Snickers,
right?
I really like the caramel note on this is actually starting to pull from front to back now that I've had a few drinks of it.
Okay, yeah,
and it's tasting like a little bit like a lighter caramel, like something you would drizzle, like say someone's drizzling it on popcorn instead of it being like the popcorn that you get with like caramel already like drenched in it and cooled. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit more sugary to it.
Right.
I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to like it.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with ryes. I'm like, I like ryes. I'll drink anything really, but I just figured it was going to be more, a step above standard rye. But it's just a little different.
The more I sip it, the more that proof is coming across as like a cracked white pepper.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it. Yeah.
Again,
just outstanding all the way around.
I think this is like you said, it's like growing on me. The more I have it, the more I'm going back to it and like almost like craving it. It's like almost like a dill pickle chip for me.
Right.
Like it starts working its way in, and then it's like, okay,
can't just have one.
It's on. Yeah. Like we better put these bottles in the cupboard so that there's some for Monday night.
Like you grab that handful of chips just thinking this is going to be it, and then 10 minutes later you've smashed the whole bag.
So you eat 2 handfuls of chips, deciding if you're going to take that bag of chips back to the chair.
Yeah.
What will drink anything? I like that.
In the beginning, though, Mike,
I'm with you. I'm with you, Mitch.
In the beginning, Patrick, you mentioned about the leathery note there, and that's starting to build even more for me on the finish, the kind of this worn leather.
Yeah, I was gonna.
It's really nice.
The more the sips you have, it like layers it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. Is like a coating note that continues to come forth. Fuck, Mike, you bitched about me and the childproof tops. This tape is on here, ridiculous.
The weather's getting hot. I didn't want things to pop.
Yeah. Ugh, all right then.
When we met at that truck stop, so I could physically hand that off to you, I wanted to make sure it made the trip safely.
Well, yeah, it does get hot in a trunk. I mean,
it does. It gets hot in the trunk, away from your reach.
Yeah. Well, where it's safely, locked away and it's not open at any point.
That's right.
It couldn't be conceived as that. What did you? I'm like, I had to read it. Like, I wrote something that's like 2 or 3 sentences long. What the fuck?
Peel off the scabs, Mike. Peel off the scabs.
You cocksucker, Mike. Fucking asshole. Well, come on, man. That's not the case. That's not the case. But
all right.
In the honor of Saturday sipping, let's move on to the single barrel straight rye because I figured the peated barrel might. I don't know how much influence it has on it. I heard it's a little more subtle.
Have you guys nosed it at all yet?
No, I have not opened it. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, great.
Going into this one totally blind. So
okay.
All right. So let me get
all
this
right.
one
Single
up.
barrel straight rye. In my Wood Hat glass, which I would be at Wood Hat, but I had to cancel my plans to go there for their Father's Day celebration.
That's a damn shame.
You could still make it, guys. If somebody was close by, you could still make it there.
I'm saying it sucks because I want to see the grill.
I know, and I will.
I just leave it there. Like, obviously, the distillery is great. If you people watching, we love Wood Hat and the way they have everything set up.
Yeah,
and then you'd be in awe of that and fall in love with it. But then there's this fucking Death Star sized grill outside that opens up and
that weighs 1,000 pounds.
That weighs 1,000 pounds.
Carry it.
That they have on premises, and I want to see that too. Sorry, there's always extras at distilleries, and that thing is insane.
Yeah.
And we need 6 more people to try to walk off with it some night.
I think we need a lot more than that. If Gary says he made it heavy so people couldn't walk off with it, I think 1,000 might be a light estimate of its weight.
I'm guessing it's concreted into the ground with comes down and branches out, and there's concrete that keeps it into place. All right, so
the approximate mass of a neutron star.
All right, the single barrel straight rye. Ooh, and this is still, what's the proof on this?
105.
Yep.
And what really? This one is stronger to me on the nose.
I really like this at 105 though. All of these so far.
Yeah.
I think that's been a good spot.
I think it takes the flavors up to where right before they peak or would spike, and then kind of pulls it back down.
Mm-hmm.
Between that or the finishing barrel.
There's a overwhelming sweetness on the nose that comes across with this. Not the candy Wilford Brimley that we've seen on a couple of them, where it's just like, holy shit.
Right.
There's just a really nice sweetness.
No, it's almost the way I'm smelling it now. It's almost more like an agave. Maybe it's the eucalyptus note I'm getting in here with it that's making me think a little more.
No, but I'm in the tropical fruit territory. I'm almost leaning like a slight pineapple kind of hit to it.
I get what you're saying by tropical. It's like getting that fruit pack, but not knowing what all the fruit is in it when you open it up and stir it.
How about grilled fruit?
Hmm.
Well, and proof isn't a problem because I'm in here.
Starting to pull that caramel off of there, like we've been getting off of these.
I can see like. Oh, go ahead, sorry, Ben.
Let's just say this one leans a little more fruit heavy for me.
Yeah, I get the caramel note. I could eat. When I think grilled fruit, though, I almost think you get like that blackened char, and I don't get that as much.
I was thinking more of that,
least.
Not the blackening part, but where you get a little bit of caramelization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caramelize those sugars. Yep.
Like with the bananas and stuff, that would.
Yeah.
And now that I said that, I get a little banana. That would be it, like bananas and pineapples. A little brown sugar, a little flambe.
I get. I know this isn't right. It's like I'm getting cantaloupe, but that can't be right.
What about honeydew?
Because I don't like cantaloupe. Yeah, I could do honeydew.
I get more of like a honeydew than I do a cantaloupe.
I could see the honeydew on that.
I know. Mm.
A little touch of honey in there too.
Okay, let's jump into this. Ooh. This one has a little bit
easy right off the bat, and then
very.
Did you? Sorry, I was.
It's just it's easy. Like initially, it's easy, then it's just like, no, I'm not.
I was gonna say after I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, this is like as soon if you were gonna take a shot of this, you would be like, oh, and then all of a sudden you would get to like the cringing. Like
I've
what
made a
happened?
terrible mistake.
But right as you get to the terrible
Yeah.
mistake and you reach that edge, it pulls back.
Yes.
It pulls back right there.
Man, I mean, that's
Honey,
again,
honeydew.
you can get very, 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 very dangerous.
It doesn't feel like artificially sweetened flavors. Like we were talking about the fruits and like the cantaloupe and a little bit of honey. It just tastes like naturally sweetened stuff, not like artificially sweetened flavors.
See, I know he's one of these whiskeys you can obviously sit and sip. They're sipping whiskeys, but I do really wonder if he isn't trying to have something that you could have with your meal and it complements and won't overpower your meal or whatever you're having with it. Because I could really see sipping the snot out of this thing while you're smoking a cigar, having charcuterie board, just eating a meal. I mean, this is very, I think, very complimentary.
I like this one. I get more wood tannin on the back end and the finish of this. Some a little bit more of I feel like an oak impact on that, and enjoying that for sure.
I'm getting far less mint on this, far less like heat from what some people would perceive as like the rye spice. Yeah, all of these have been surprising. I don't want to say surprisingly friendly because the last one had a little bit more torque to it, but this is, I don't know. This is the one so far that I could put down. I could just keep drinking and almost not notice it. You know, like,
right.
Oh my God, that's really nice. I'm enjoying this. This is something if I was going to a wedding that would be in my flask. You know, like wherever it is I'm going today, it's just a nice, happy sip, and I'm feeling good about it no matter what. You know, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is probably my favorite so far. I could see how you would go with the last one, because it's got a little more punch. I just like this one for me is a little more rounded, and I like the flavors in this.
It's got a nice after finish too.
Yeah, just enough kick, like just enough black pepper. Almost like a little bit of a red pepper in it, not necessarily white. Oh, and for those of you out there, we're gonna do one more, but I want to bring up on July 30th, we're gonna have Fred Swanson from Dancing Goat Distillery on, and we're gonna be doing cocktails like we did with Heather Manley. And just like with Heather Manley, we're gonna give you a chance to get some of the booze muled to you so you can make the cocktails along with us. So if you would like to be a part of that, email us like we did before. Cost would be $30. You would get 100 milliliters of Death Door Gin and 100 milliliters of Dancing Goat Limousine Rye, and we will update you with the type of drinks we'll be having at that point. We're working on maybe a type of smash, maybe with like a little maple syrup, maybe not. There's things up in there that we're going to clean up on that, but we want to let you guys know so that if you do want to join us in that evening and have a few cocktails with us, that you are able to do so. So, sorry, I wanted to jump in there with that before we keep going and I forget, because that is important. No, but that one's no, I screwed up the dump glasses because I drank too much of that one. Hold on. All right, here.
All right.
Well, I need to have enough for like the big mix at the end. So.
Well, we don't. I mean, other than the toasted, I mean, we really don't have a whole lot to play with. So I've been really stingy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're doing after this, but I think Dad's gonna have a good afternoon.
Oh, yeah, I still got a lot of work to do. And speaking of which, happy Father's Day to you two, and happy Father's Day to the dads watching now and watching later, and those that just like to be called daddy. Which covers, I think, everybody.
There you go.
So,
so
cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. Are we in the peated one?
Yeah, we
I should have just put it back.
But it's not. But that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, if you say peated, you've got a thing in your mind. You're like, oh, this is peated. It's not a peated whiskey. They did. I think they peat smoked the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, it's not even like an Isla finished barrel. It's just they burned the peat in the barrel and smoked the barrel itself. So
yeah.
Okay, so done with my cheers. And Weddle brings up an excellent point, just because fuck vodka. A $20 vodka is good, but a $20 usually does leave something to be desired. But as Mitch knows, sometimes there's some between like 9 and 20 that for their price are pretty fucking solid. I mean, it's not like blow your doors off, but for what it is, you're pretty happy.
Well, some of them, like Kentucky, where Mitch is at, you can get some. You used to be able to get a couple of really good ones from Heaven Hill for under $20. But you think all over, like right now, there's at least 3 places around me that have Wild Turkey 101 on sale for about $20. That's about, like, it might be 21, it might be 19. Right. That's pretty hard to beat. It's hard to find a value like that.
What? Oh. I missed the thing where Emily was talking about why is wedding whiskey so bad. Oh,
because you talked about bringing flasks to a wedding or whatever.
Yeah, it is. It's usually that they don't pick good whiskey is the biggest thing.
No, they go with the stock ones. That's why I made my comment about it. Because every event that I went to, it's like, oh, what do you have? We have Scotch, Dewar's White. Every freaking time, Dewar's White.
Well, and to be honest, a lot of times it's Jack for what it was, and then to be honest, there was places I was happy enough with that. I was like, okay, I can. I'm
good with Jack.
I can work with that to see. Yeah. But when you say Scotch, it was either you felt like you were privileged if it wasn't Dewar's White Label, like someone specifically
J&B. Well, I mean, they're doing mixers. I get that, but. I mean, yeah. At least for God's sakes, have Jim Beam or Jack. It's not expensive, but Dewar's White, for God's sakes, have some class.
And yet another company.
Johnny Red.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I know people will say whatever good things about it, like because it's base and what. No, it's not. It's not okay for me.
It's not meant to be had like this. It is meant to be thrown in something.
I don't like Johnny Black and some other things. I can go with, but that red, not happy. That's right. White beats Johnny Red. There's a show for us some night. We'll just be watch Pat make bad faces.
This is not.
It sounds like characters from The Outsiders. Anyway, sorry, Ben.
I was saying this is not the Raw Gut Review, Patrick.
No,
don't subject us to that.
No. But
and they're back, which is great.
Are.
Yeah, they are. It's good to see them back on there.
Yes, it is.
Having some fun. So, cheers to them too. But nose-wise,
I've just been nosing, and there is the underlying earthy mustiness, but it doesn't. It's not what you would, if you said this is peated, you're expecting peat. It's not peated whiskey. There's just that hint of it on there, but it's a sweet peat.
It's sweet. There's a little bit of mustiness to it. I'm still pulling a lot of what to me has been like across the board with all these, this rich caramel note that I still get.
Yeah.
On this one though, I'm getting much more. There's an orange citrus note coming off of it.
Orange, citrus, and peach.
Yeah, I get vanilla and caramel off of all these ryes, which I'm sure that's the barrel, and that's again question for Jason, but I mean this is if this was a peated whiskey, peated whiskey people would be very disappointed.
This is almost more like a dried apricot than peach to me.
Yeah, I was gonna change that. But when you're saying that, the peated part of it, it almost to me more smells like it was aged in a dunnage that I'm getting than I would think peat. You know, like a little bit like half subterranean with the smell.
Mm-hmm.
Or like just another way to kind of come across with that is like sometimes if you get finished port or like you get that same type of smell from it, not to say it's the flavor, but the smell. Very well rounded, pretty light on the nose.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that.
Attacking you. Yeah, it's hard to argue that thing.
Yeah,
I don't. And I feel like they did something, and they probably did since I was younger and in college, because I remember Wild Turkey not being very exciting or very good at that point in my mind. And
how were you drinking it?
Well, who wasn't just having shots of it? I'm just being honest. I'm not lying about the shit. It's not that I was being a connoisseur at that point, but that's
the point. Range, yeah, like people at I can't drink. Well, why not? Well, because I drank a bottle one night. Well, okay, dipshit. I mean, but people do that. But like, well, you bought Wild Turkey because it was cheap, and that's why you drank a bottle of it. That's why you were doing shots of it, because it was cheap. But it's a lot better than what people have given it credit. I think, especially 101. That really, it's good, and people know it, and that's great. And you don't have to worry about it going up to $40, at least not for a while.
I was gonna mute you for a second for jinxing the whole damn thing. No, see, that happens all too often. You're like, we can get $40 for it. Watch this shit. No, it shouldn't be, but for its price point, it is probably one of the favorite ones out there in the whiskey community, to be honest.
All right, you guys sipped on this yet?
Okay, I know. I'm going.
Yeah, there's a nice funk to it. It's just there's a dry, musty rye, and
there's also, for me, there's a right on the center of the palate. There's this waxy, funky and floral note all together, almost like orange blossom. But the immediate thing that comes to mind is Kleinleash, 14-year-old. That kind of waxy peat note that there's this waxiness to it from the sherry finish, but you get a little bit of that undercurrent of peat that's in the Kleinleash. That's what this puts me in the mind of. And you guys know I have for a long time advocated for, I love to see the combination of peat and rye. I think those are two flavor combos that would work brilliantly together. We've only seen it touched on a little bit. We've done some experimenting with it with the mini barrels, but man, this is lovely.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm gonna have a comment here that might be. I don't want to call the reach, so I got to go back for another drink here.
It's got a nice thick mouthfeel to it. Mouthfeel. I'll say it just to irritate people. Mouthfeel. But there's that oiliness to it. But yeah, it's a mild funk. And if this was finished like a Kleinleash, I think it would. You could say, all right, we're getting into Scotch territory here.
Exactly. You might start thinking this is Scotch instead of a rye.
Except for the finish. Man, this thing is compared to the rest of them. This one seems a much more smooth, rounded whiskey. Like this one, if anything, if I would have not heard that, I would have thought like Elvage was used on this one, because you don't get a lot of spikes from a lot of the heat from any of the rye or anything. This one just seems like you're saying, it almost seems more like a Scotch. That's a little bit more like a lightly rounded one until that little bit of punch at the end. I don't know this one. I'm enjoying
the thing that strikes me about this above the others, and it is I'm sure the peat influence, because there's a little bit of meat smoke to it, but everything's very subtle. But all of these four that we have, they are all, the first three are extremely approachable, and I think would be, but like toasted would be a good to convert someone who says they don't like rye. The small batch, I think, probably would too. But this is like the most, for lack of a better term, gentlemanly of them all. Like out of the four, it's like you would feel classier drinking a glass of this than the others because it is just more. It's up a level in the layers of flavors but you're getting into the difference with, bourbon and being American tends to have standard flavors to it. And we love them dearly and there's nothing wrong with them. But then there's the subtlety of Scotch with some of
Right.
not all Scotches, but there's that, the flavors that you really are trying to pull out. And this does a really good job of bringing that to the rye.
This is the pour this in a snifter, give me a leather chair, a fire, and a cigar, and let me sit down for a while and enjoy this.
Yeah.
Because I was even getting a really nice, like, light cherry note on the nose. Now coming back to it after a couple minutes, like, I think you're right. Ben. It's subtly complex and a little bit more elegant than what the other ones were.
Yeah, very much so.
And I'm surprised by it. I want to see if they're going to be doing more experiments with what they're doing, because I know, like, if you were to peat smoke the grains, that could basically, it screws up whoever does the smoking or wherever they do that, the malting, because it just smells like that forever afterwards. Right. I don't know if that's going to happen if you did that to the barrels, and I wonder if they would do that with other wood or a mixture, peat and mesquite wood, instead of just the peat on the inside. If you were going to be, like, charring it up in the barrel on the inside like that, if you're using peat, what if you use some other additives to kind of try to torque the inside of the barrel's flavor?
Okay. I had a thought, totally in agreement with that, with what you said, but all four of these at the restaurant, a flight of all four of these whiskeys with our charcuterie board, but that also has smoked cheeses and sliced steak.
Now you're just making me freaking hungry, man.
But this one, I could just see this one and just like snacking on meat.
Yep.
just a nice bloody steak.
The other side of this one too is sipping on this, and I'm thinking, man, I want a piece of dark chocolate and I want a good cigar to go with this too. I think some dark chocolate would play really fun with this one. And I added a few drops of water a few moments ago, and it didn't tamp anything down, but it brought out some more of the complexity that's in here. I would say this one may be the more complex out of all four of these.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It gets even more floral in a way, if you will.
I was surprised by that on that first drink, how much, like you said, across the mid palate it became floral, almost kind of burst at like second, third of the way through.
Even a little bit of honeysuckle in there now. Orange blossom, honeysuckle. There's some really fun floral notes going on in there. Ooh. A little bit of tea on the back end now. Black tea.
Yeah. Or if not, this is one of those times that the progression of things and ending on this would be, if you were going to be putting this together the way this is ending, the build up to where you hit here is really making this one stand out.
Yeah.
Like when we did it with Josh Gardner, and it was like, well, did you plan this, or did you just roll the dice at random with how you wanted to pick these? Because it's if you pick these out intentionally, you're fucking genius, like, and kind of the way this is playing out. I've enjoyed every single one, but this one has been, like you said, appetizer, real meal with steak, maybe with this one, and then dessert. And you could do that there at Bourbon's Bistro too. Like I just imagined and played that shit out in my head. I was like, well, maybe shrimp and grits here.
But this
there.
dessert, this as a dessert, this is the kind of dessert that you know, it's not ice cream where you have to eat because it's going to melt. This is a dessert that you're going to sit there and take little bites of and just sit there and think about it. I mean, this is, again, we didn't plan this thinking of, because we'd all tasted these, but the way it lays it, that's just a really good one to end. This would be a great one to end the night with.
This is a fantastic flight. And it's not that any one of these you wouldn't want to enjoy a glass of, but it's like you've tasted through the first three and then you get to this one. And it's like, okay, now pour me a full glass of this one. Cause I want to sit back for a while.
Cause this has got this wonderful chocolatey notes, and you guys were going bitter, but I'm almost on the edge of like a milk chocolatey note, and the mouthfeel feels like a light oily one for me on this. Like it's there and present for a while, but it's light and a little more viscous. Damn, Jason. And everyone helping you pick this out. Nice job with what you're doing. Makes me even more excited to talk to him on Monday. So now I'm making my dump glass.
He's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep.
He was fun, and we didn't get to talk to him that much that evening.
He was.
Sometimes you get to.
That was a busy night.
Oh, it was an extremely busy. I wasn't like knocking him. I'm like, sometimes you can tell who people are and how much fun they're going to be in, 15-20 minutes. You're like, oh, we'd be in trouble if we hung out with you.
Well, he did
in the best way possible.
We were with Kevin Rose, and he did apologize to Kevin because he's like, I'm sorry, I wanted to spend some time with you guys, which he didn't have to say that, but I believe that he was sincere in that. Anyway,
ooh, the dump glass went super chocolatey for me, and some rye and stuff, but man, a little bit of funk, like you're saying. I get a little barnyard, like wet hay-ish.
Yeah, I get damp funk is like rising to the top on the nose, and I'm liking it a lot.
Oh, sorry, Kevin. I don't remember what we said, so we'll have to go. You'll have to go back and watch to see what we said about it. And I thought Ben froze up for a second there. It's like you smelled something or heard something. You're like it broke you for a second.
What?
Oh, Emily's asking Benjamin, oil or salt cure?
Yeah, we were talking about olives. I want some cured olives with that peated.
Ooh.
And so I'm saying oil cured.
We were big fans of it, especially after having the other ones, Kevin.
Yeah.
Have you guys gotten into sipping the blend yet?
No,
not yet. Just been nosing. I'm enjoying the nose on it. It's really good.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go. No. Go ahead. I'll wait.
This would be for me. This is the second most complex one of the night. This one has a lot going on, and you can tell.
It gets a fun little mint right on the front end of it, and then it gets to that waxy note in the middle. There's like some almost like a candied bacon kind of thing going on. With like a peach jam or something like that. Oh, this is freaking delicious.
I was gonna go like a cherry jam when you were right up to the point where we were talking. And went peach. I was gonna go like cherry. Maybe that just might be the flavor that I have.
The way the flavor comes out on this for me is like the old the old great 70s candy. The wax candy that had filling in it. Because it's like you have that waxy coating, and it's just that it's a little funky, a little dusty, and then it's like, the flavors are leaking out of it, but you still get that underlying wax that's still left over from what carried all that in there. But there's just the little bit of funk from that peat is coming in where you just get that dusty mustiness that's just like complementary to everything else.
It is, and if you weren't getting as much rye on the finish of this one as I am, like to say the last fourth to the finish, I was getting a little bit more rye. It almost drinks like a far older bourbon up until that point, till like the rye kicks in for me. It's almost where we're talking like usually 2 to 3 year old stuff all on the board here this evening. I'm saying it feels like it's more like it could hide in a 10 or a 15-year-old from what I've had. You know,
I could see that where you get the dryness, the woodiness.
You're getting the complexity of a couple extra flavors you don't always get right away. Combination on this one, I'm pretty happy with, because the last couple I've had fucking disasters when I put them together.
This is I'm getting a distinct candied violet note on the finish on this, and I'm digging that. Totally digging that.
Candied violet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Wow.
Mm. And it has just enough like heat and kick from the rye.
I'd give you more notes, but I finished mine. Spoiler alert, I liked it.
Hold on. Might as well put everything in here now. I was like holding off for a second there.
Well, you got to make sure you got enough for Monday.
I do. Sure.
I got like a quarter ounce of each one.
No one knows what I'm really pouring, right? Like so.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
What'd you do? I did with Todd Leopold's one. Like,
these are good.
That night one.
If you can find a way, I know you can get them in. You can get Buzzard's Roost, obviously, in Louisville, definitely at Bourbon's Bistro, and I think that Kevin said in his article you can get it in New York or for some Massachusetts, for some weird reason.
Yeah, there's a distributor there that I think really liked it and decided to pick it up. But
and so it's harder to get, but it's one of those things that, as far as an experience goes, if you do go to Bourbon's Bistro and you get something to eat, you can ask them what they do have available, and it just kind of ticks up the evening a bit. You know, after Mike makes
try it and buy it.
Yeah, after Mike makes you a cocktail, or you have a few other things, and you go eat, and you get to leave with something. And if Jason's there, just here's a little marker. Give me a little sign on an autograph, because make it that much more nostalgic. Put a memory bank onto something.
Yeah.
If all it takes is a signature, seems lame, but I guarantee you'll keep most of those bottles because it's a special memory. So
yeah. And if you haven't guessed by many times as we've said it, we had a good time at Bourbon's Bistro, and it wasn't because we were partying and getting trashed. It's because it was a good time. The bar experience was great with Mike. Yeah. That was a lot of fun, and the food was great. I mean, it was just delicious food. So much so that it was great and rich, and the cocktail that I got with it was great. But I would have loved to have tried their desserts, but I just didn't want to be sick from food.
Well, and like recently brought up by Fred Minnick with one of his posts, like there was a section in time where Bourbon's Bistro and other restaurants like that were helping kind of carry bourbon back into the limelight when things were, in a darker phase of things, and it sounds like maybe some of the bigger distilleries might be. It's part of the whole allocation game, and you know how much we love that horse shit of crap.
I don't know what your stance is. Go ahead and say it.
Allocation is the biggest load of crap that has ever heard. It's just bullshit. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, and it creates a lot of. And so does part of the system. So it's not just allocation. There's part of the system. But guess what? You all work together and you fuck people in the ass. You do. That's what's happening. It's like good, hardworking, honest people getting screwed over. Well, sorry. I guess I know why Fred couldn't give that take without to the
bite the pillow. I'm going in dry.
Yeah. You're starting to sound like Leo Getz. They fuck you at the liquor store. They fuck you at the liquor store.
But it's I can't help it, man. I'm sorry. That's what you're doing. And for what it sounds like, some of them are are playing bullshit games like that with people who help them get to the place where they got to, and that's ridiculous. And I almost thought, and I'm going to ask, and this is one of the probably more hard hitting questions. Do you think some of those bigger people are being dicks because of what you're putting out? This is fucking really good. It's better than a lot of the bullshit some people are making. And
well, and I think Jason would be honest with any question.
I know. I'm just saying.
But he's known for doing really good picks also for Bourbon's Bistro. They have theirs. I've gotten a few of their picks.
Really
they're really, really good. I mean, when you go on a pick, you get, it's different and unique. They're really good, and they're good for a reason. But I know he's had some experiences with, good and bad experiences with picks, and maybe he'll talk about those. But people that are chasing allocated, and even allocated like around me, it's not, I wouldn't call it allocated, but normal Buffalo Trace is hard to get. Weller, people post about, I found Weller and Eagle Rare. Okay. Sure. They come out of the same distillery, which maybe is a problem. Maybe it's a thing. I'm not going to say that, but for people that I see they'll say, I found this Eagle Rare and I bought it off a guy for $55. Okay. You bought Eagle Rare for $55. Mm-hmm. I could name other craft whiskeys or not other, I can name craft whiskeys that you should have spent your money on that are, I think, much better than Eagle Rare, or people, I spent $125 on Weller Antique 107. Well, you're a dumbass, right? Because you could have bought something else. If you want the proof, this is 105 proof. It's half that price and it's better. Right. So, go after this instead. Go buy 2 bottles of this instead of your 1 bottle of Weller Antique 107.
So, hey, but in honesty,
see what you started.
Every now and then, there's something you want to have to taste, to understand it, and go along with it, and that happens sometimes. So we're not completely shitting on things all the time or choices, because sometimes it's like you need to have something to compare it to. And just saying, maybe, like if I hadn't gotten some of the Pappy 15 the way I did, I wouldn't be able to compare it as easily. Like, I would have had it, but I wouldn't be able to have sat down a couple times and really kind of be like, okay, well, this is what I'm getting. And I understand why people like it, but it's not the level of complexity that you would expect out of someone paying thousands of dollars for a bottle.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not worth the secondary price.
Yeah.
It's just not. There's not that many that are, but anyway.
That reminds me, anyone getting
go buy this.
Yeah.
Is that that bottle of 15, which let's say roughly $15,000 or $1,000 unallocated for the 15, roughly. Is that worth having 15 of these?
Yeah. You can go into a liquor store and feel like Rick Brenner going to a distillery.
Case at a time, baby.
He doesn't leave with a case of whatever he's getting when he's going in, which I gotta say is one of the most baller moves I've ever seen.
I like that because, like, look, I want it. I'm here. I'm just gonna buy a case of them. Mm-hmm. And my father-in-law was that way, not with whiskey or anything, but it's like, I like these gloves. I never want to not have these gloves. So after he died, they're like, here's boxes of gloves. Here's boxes of this. There's boxes, because he liked it and he wasn't going to be without it. They were all nicely put up. Everything was marked on there. It's like, well, you knew what he liked.
I respect that. It's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
I remember when they changed some shoe styles and all of a sudden shit that I loved was gone. And I was like, had I known, I would have gone and bought like 8 pairs. I had a friend that did that. He heard about it and he's like, I went over to his house one day and he's like, oh, it's in the closet. And literally half the fucking closet was like the Vans shoes that he liked in like 2 different colors. He's like, well, they discontinued them and I like to wear them to work.
Okay, Imelda Marcos.
It's like that's awesome, but if this becomes like a hoarders episode, we're gonna have some issues.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
good whiskeys.
Yep.
yeah, and a
Fantastic.
really nice blend between them, to be honest.
Yes,
But that peated barrel was something special as far as
that was a great way to end the night. And we'll find out from Jason about purchasing, because I had asked him before if there was a store out of Kentucky, because Kentucky will ship to reciprocal states,
which is only 7.
but it's also
fucking 48 like some people believe.
as I have found. I'm sorry, as I have been told has been found. is that the term reciprocal states? I mean, it's really up to whoever's sending it. If whoever's sending it drops it off and the carrier takes it and sends it, things happen. I know
that's because they don't care.
Right. No, but no one, like, a business owner like Jason, he's not going to do that, but there might be a store or somebody who has it and would ship. Maybe not. We'll find out what avenues there are for purchasing these things, because you should purchase these. I have
it's one of those
I have no
things
reservations of telling you to go out, go buy them, find them, buy them.
It's one of those things that if it had a bigger distribution, which we understand where it's at, because it's, you're starting it and starting the company, and you're focusing on apparently quality, and we can't always say that's so wonderful. It's going to take a little bit to get to the scale where you're putting out a lot, but I think some of this in a blind would, I mean, that peated one, I mean, that might start slipping up into a whiskey of the year. A lot of these could slip in a blind, could really do some damage. But I think the peated barrel for me would be the one right now that would be, slap it into like a top 10 right now, maybe. Of the year, not knowing where it could land. Once it's in the mix, it's dangerous. Right. So, yeah, that's how much I'm liking that one. It's just had the neat like smoky, meaty smell to it, and just a titch of it. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to Monday with Jason, and I'm sure everyone else is. So remember to stop in then. I don't know. I think we're good until then. I mean, that's the big thing. Stop and then we'll roll from there. We have all sorts of dates filled up. Adam Stumpf is coming on. I was going to say he's one of the ones coming up. Definitely stop in for that. He is just outside of St. Louis, but we were talking about them, and you guys had the tasting, and that was one where, was it his rye or something was up for someone's rye of the year?
That's right.
Yeah. It was really good.
Should be in consideration.
Yeah. So I'm hoping near the summer I'll get over there to some St. Louis visits
within striking distance, and then we got Brian Cushing coming on July 5th. That's going to be one where we're going to be giving you guys what cocktails we'll be making or having that night. I'm not going to force him to make like 50 cocktails that night. That's just not right. But we'll have some of the ones that we'll be doing, and maybe some extra ones you can try, because they're ones that are focusing on from the Victorian era. So really when cocktail making was beginning to blossom in its current state. So some of the stuff they're doing, from what I've heard, has been pretty damn fantastic. So
it has.
We're gonna be trying some of the older cocktails that they're making. What's up, Giggly dude?
No, I just thinking of, I think it would be really fun to I think it'd be really fun if the chat was like all in Victorian speak.
You'd have to ask for that, so I don't know how that will go. Yeah. So big thing, stop in Monday night. Let's talk about Jason, and I think that guy Kevin Rose might stop by. He might be giving us some of his thoughts on that show as well too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those people that turns you on to certain things, and when they're this good, it's hard to beat. So,
And when he looks like Tom Selleck, sometimes he just turns you on.
ooh. Is he wearing the night? And he will be wearing the 1970s shorts that Tom Selleck wears.
The nut cutters.
Yep.
During said show. The question is
3
whether or not
mustache
you will get
rides
to
after
see
the
him.
show.
Oh, his wife loves this.
What is wrong with these people, Kenny?
I can't believe you like them. How are they your friends? Yes, they can stay. So join us then. But,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to take
I
it
don't-
off. I was going there too. Sorry.
I don't. Are you talking about for Brian Cushing night? Because I don't have anything Victorian, but I have some really old shirts.
Yeah.
I don't have any Hawaiian shirts anymore either. I need to get.
I
I'd
would say we
have
could
to
all
get
dress
one
up
of
as a different character from.
I have to get one of that pirate shirt from Seinfeld. You put that on.
Yeah, yeah, we could. Yeah, characters. Yeah, characters from Magnum PI. That'd be
Right.
good.
That I could handle.
Nobody wants to be Rick.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Do you think Jason would be upset if we came dressed as different characters again? That Monday?
He's pretty colorful, but he'd probably be like, "What the hell are you
Right.
guys doing?"
And the week after that, we'll interview Adam as the A-Team.
Oh.
That little Mike's really upset about the A-Team.
No, I was. Never mind. I was,
No. Let's hear it. I got my rant.
okay, I get to be Murdoch.
That's fair. All right. So cheers, everyone out there. We will see you Monday evening. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, Mike and Ben, for drinking with me. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping in now and in the future. And if you haven't already, hit the like, comment, subscribe button. We will be going even bigger and more exciting things coming out here shortly. So you just hold on to your pants. We'll see you then. Happy Father's Day.
Cheers.